You unravel me with a melody, and you surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears have gone, and I'm no longer a slave to fear, 'cause I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear, 'cause I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me, and love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins, 'cause I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. Yes, I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Yes, I am surrounded by the arms of a Father, and I am surrounded with songs of deliverance, and we've been liberated
Good evening. Glad to see you all tonight. Welcome to the Pregnancy Resource Center annual gala. We are glad that so many of you are here with us tonight. We don't take it for granted that you have taken out your time and got out of the nasty weather to show up tonight. We are appreciative of that. Hopefully your homes weren't damaged at all by the storm, but if they are, we certainly thank you so much that you took your time to be here tonight. We are looking forward to what we have to share with you, hearing something from our executive director, Robin Mock, as well as our phenomenal speaker that will be coming forward a little later, Abby Johnson. If you guys remember, she was here last year and shared a phenomenal story with us about the work that she's been doing. We're grateful that we have her back tonight. If I know anything about folks from Georgia is that I know they like to eat, so I won't stand up here for too long and say too much, but if you don't mind right now, let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we are so grateful tonight that as the song and the words that we just heard let us know that we are your children. And tonight we stand up for life. We stand up for the unborn children who some have counted out and don't give a chance. Lord, we thank you so much for everyone who has volunteered in some capacity or given in some way to ensure that we can give life and voices to those who are unheard. Father, tonight I pray that you would allow our time together to be beneficial. Pray that when we leave this place, we be inspired to go forth and do the work you have called us to do, to give voice to the voiceless, to give life to those who already have life so they can experience life here on this earth. Father, tonight we thank you so much for the meals that we're about to eat. We pray that our fellowship and time together would be well. It's in your name we pray. Amen. At this time, you can go ahead and eat. Thank you.
it time for you to renew your vehicle tags? If so, consider sharing the message of life with Choose Life license plates. You can get them by renewing your plates online, by mail, or in person. Just select Choose Life under Specialty Tag Information. I can't wait to see them on all the cars.
May I have your attention for one moment, please? I need to make a very important announcement. May I have your attention for one moment? If you are driving a white Lexus with license plate number CB743, your lights are on. A white Lexus, license plate number CB743, your lights are on. And we just wanted to let you know so you can go ahead and turn them off. Thanks.
You were the Word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. You didn't want heaven without us. So Jesus, you brought heaven down. My sin was great, your love was greater. And what could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. Oh yes, Lord, you are there. Death could not hold you. The veil tore before you. You silenced the boast of sin and grave. The heavens are roaring the praise of your glory. For you are raised to life again. And you have no rival, and you have no equal. Now and forever, God, you reign. And yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a powerful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. You have no rival, and you have no equal. Now and forever, God, you reign. Yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a powerful name it is. And nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus.
Thank you all so much. Can we give our band a hand tonight? Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys serving us tonight. Before I introduce our executive director, Robin Mock, who will come forth to give us our director's report, I do want to say a special thank you to a few people, certainly to our host, 12 Stone Church. Thank you guys so much for hosting us tonight, allowing us to meet in this space. We are appreciative of all that you've done for us. For those who have helped to set up tonight, every person who's volunteered, given any amount of your time, we thank you so much for what you've done. Also, we want to thank our underwriters for making this night possible. Without you generously participating in that and contributing to this night, it wouldn't be possible. So we thank our underwriters. Can we give them a hand as well? For the past few months, as I've been able to serve as the president of the board of the Pregnancy Resource Center, I've been able to work hand in hand alongside with Robin Mock. And I use the term work on my end loosely because it's really been her doing all the work and I serve in a support role. And I can assure you all that we have the absolute best executive director possible to be in this position to serve our community and to look out and be a voice for the voiceless. Robin is the mother of 6 and the grandmother of 4. And although she has all of those 6 young ladies that she is a mother to and those 4 grandbabies, she gives her time generously to the Pregnancy Resource Center. She served the center for the past 11 years, and 2.5 of those years have been as the executive director. And tonight she's going to come and share with us some of the exciting things that are happening at the Pregnancy Resource Center. And I want to assure you that many of the things that happen would not happen without her being the executive director. And I just want to publicly say what I've said to her privately, that we are privileged to have you, and I thank you so much for how you serve our center and how you serve our community. Robin, at this time, we'll have you, and can we just give her a hand as she comes?
Okay, I just told him that was not what I wrote for him to say. Exactly 6 months ago today, the reality of how sacred and precious life really hit home when one of our staff members and my daughter, Meredith, gave birth at 26 weeks to a 1 pound, 6 ounce baby girl at Gwinnett Medical Center. I would like for you all to meet Finley Kate. Meredith arrived at the hospital around 12 o'clock on Sunday, March 12th, because she hadn't felt a lot of movement throughout the weekend. By 5:50 p.m., Finley Kate came into the world via C-section with a 50% chance of survival. Needless to say, it was a very unpredictable journey that we faced. She suffered a bilateral grade 4 brain bleed on day 3, which was devastating to us. As we were told, 85 to 95% of the time, this required some type of intervention. Needless to say, the first few months of her life were a roller coaster ride of achievements and setbacks. I'm happy to say, though, that after 102 days in the NICU unit, Finley Kate came home. I'm going to show you the next slide. Finley Kate is our little miracle baby. She never had a drain or a shunt or any type of invasive treatment. The neurosurgeon said he had not seen a case like hers in over 4 years. As we look back on the path that we walked with Finley Kate, we have no doubt that if it weren't for the excellent care she received at the hands of the NICU nurses and doctors, some who are here tonight, thank you, and the healing from our great God, we would not have the outcome that we have today. And as we all look at this little baby, I know our hearts are stirred by her story. You may even feel the same love and concern that we felt for her. But I want you to just stop and wonder for a minute, where is that same love and concern for the women who are deceived into thinking abortion is their only choice? Moms who are born into a world where abortion has always been legal. Moms who are born into a world and they're told that abortion is part of women's health care. Tonight, I want us to look at our great county, what the PRC of Gwinnett is doing to help the women and unborn in our county, and our vision for the future. one more slide. I want to show you Finley Kate today. I've missed that one. There she is. Since 1994, according to the Guttmacher Institute, over 680,000 abortions have taken place in the state of Georgia. 10.6% of those took place in Gwinnett County. Now, I'm sure most of you have attended an event at the Infinite Gwinnett Arena. What if you heard on the news that during a concert, some masked men came in and using bombs, they killed every attendee in the arena? That would be devastating. It would be on the news for weeks. It might even prompt a visit from the president. We would hear stories. It would affect millions of lives. But I want you to think and stop for a minute. That would have to happen every year for 5 years to equal the number of babies who have been aborted in Gwinnett County since 1994. Due to the influence of our culture, the women of Gwinnett County are at increased risk for abortion. From 2015 to 2015, abortions have decreased across the nation, but in Gwinnett County, it has increased 10.6%. And I'm going to tell you in a few minutes why I think that is. The cultural message from the pro-abortion activists that women now hear in the media, it's changed. It's no longer a message that it's a piece of tissue. It's admitted that it's a life, but it's a life worth sacrificing. Women are told abortion is a noble sacrifice. Adoption is perceived as a negative choice. Abortion procedures have been labeled women's health care. The lies are repeated so many times they are believed as truth. The pregnancy centers of Georgia are being targeted as fake medical clinics. Groups from local public schools are rallying around to force pregnancy centers like us out of the public schools because they want a comprehensive sex education rather than abstinent-based. Why would we teach our children anything else other than what's best for their bodies? The CDC even has on their website that abstinence is the best choice. Right now, that fight is going on not only here in Gwinnett County, but also in Henry County. It is time for the pro-life community to be educated and stand up to this rhetoric. The mission of the PRC of Gwinnett is to empower our community to make healthy decisions regarding their reproductive health, their family, and their sexual integrity by providing medical services, foundational education, and material services to women, youth, and families, thereby creating a strong community that values and respects the life of the unborn and the life of the mother, the family unit, and the physical well-being of our youth. Tonight, I want to focus on two of our services that your generous giving has and will enable us to continue to improve and meet the needs of our community. First of all, our education program is vital. It walks a woman through her pregnancy and through those first few difficult months after the baby is born. We are renaming our education Thrive. We believe it is important to educate moms and fathers so that they can thrive both physically, emotionally, and spiritually as parents. We are changing our model from group education to one-to-one mentoring. They will be assigned a personal development advocate. This person will walk the path with them. They will assign them online prenatal classes, individualized DVD instruction, group classes in the evening. We will fully equip them to be the mom and dad that they need to be. We are inviting church groups to get involved in this. We will be providing meals for them. We need both men and women to pull this off. It's going to be amazing. We have a table out tonight. You'll see a big banner that says Thrive. If you really want to get involved in someone's life and really make a difference, we challenge you tonight to be a part of this. Secondly, what are we doing in our medical program to face the increase in abortions in Gwinnett County? I believe this increase is because the FDA changed the regulations for the abortion pill from 7 weeks to 10 weeks. The Planned Parenthood, that's located only 2 miles from our center, exclusively prescribes the abortion pill. Since we last met, we have started opening the second Saturday of the month. We have changed our ultrasound protocol to 5 weeks so that we can get that girl through our doors. We have set alerts on our electronic healthcare system for a girl that could be a good candidate for an adoption plan so that we can reach back out to her. We have brought on a patient care advocate whose passion is adoption so that she can meet with these clients. Telemedicine is now on our website in the event that a woman or a girl would like to actually video with one of our nurses. We have started an initiative for men called Gideon Strong to fully equip men in the workplace on how to talk about abortion and defend their pro-life position. We have started treating STDs. Since January 1, we have booked over 1,200 appointments and provided services for over 750 patients. Of those 750 patients, to the best of our knowledge, 696 are carrying their babies to term. But the most exciting thing that we are doing is we have added a service called Abortion Pill Reversal. At this time, I'm going to show a short video about abortion pill reversal, and then I'm going to ask my clinical manager, Sally Branch, to come and share with you what this service has done so far.
Have you ever made a choice or decision that you wish you could reverse? What if I told you there is an option? Choices made during a time of fear and confusion many times end up being the ones that we regret most. Usually, we do not have the option to reverse the consequences of such choices, and we end up having to live with the pain and regret of those decisions. The choice to have an abortion and end the life of an unborn child is one of the most difficult and traumatic decisions a woman can make.
Taking the abortion pill, it just felt wrong. I should have never done it. I regret every single moment after that. So me and my boyfriend were actually talking about what we could do to possibly reverse it. We called family planning to see if they could help us, but basically she just answered the phone. She was just cold-hearted and said, "Your fetus is gone. There's nothing you can do. You already took the pill. You might as well just continue with the process and just get it over with," and just hung up.
These days, the decision to have an abortion is seemingly made easier by the availability of mifepristone, also known as RU486, or the abortion pill.
Medically induced abortions have become increasingly common. By 2015, 20 to 25% of all abortions in the U.S. have been accomplished using mifepristone. More than 2 million women have received this medication to abort their babies. In 2006, Dr. Matt Harrison, the Associate Medical Director of Abortion Pill Reversal, completed the first known abortion pill reversal.
When I spoke to Debbie from APR, her voice was just full of joy, and I just felt like there was hope when I was talking to her. She just said, "Okay, well, I know this doctor that's close to you, and I want you to go see him." After that, we went and saw the doctor that wrote off the prescription, and he said, "Do you see that little flashing thing on the screen?" And we're like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's the baby's heartbeat." And we were just like, wow. Like, after taking that pill where they said there's no going back, to see his heart beating on the screen, that was just overwhelming, and it was joyful just to know that he's here now.
By 2015, nearly 100 babies have been born to women who have successfully reversed the effects of mifepristone using progesterone. All the babies have been healthy with no major birth defects. In 2015, another 75 mothers were pregnant after successful reversals, with all of those pregnancies appearing to be healthy. The APR success rate has been about 60%. The joy and gratitude of these mothers has been immense. Those women who have had unsuccessful reversals have expressed a sense of peace knowing that they took the opportunity to try to save their unborn babies.
The mission of abortion pill reversal is to provide an efficient, supportive, and effective way to educate women about the possibility of reversing medical-induced abortion, and to quickly connect women who choose reversal with doctors in their area who are willing and able to help them with the reversal process. Our vision is to make every woman who might take the abortion pill aware of the possibility of reversal and to make the reversal protocols part of the standard of care of everyday medical practice.
We know that there are many babies whose lives can be saved and many mothers who can be emotionally spared by APR. You may also help promote the abortion pill reversal program so that everyone may know that it is possible to reverse the effects of the abortion pill.
Introduce, this is Sally Branch. She's our clinical manager. She's awesome. And she's going to share with you she's going to share with you the experiences we've had. We just started this in July, and it's amazing what God's doing.
Hi there. I was waiting for that call. All of us at the PRC were waiting for that call, but especially me, because those calls come directly to me. It was 10 o'clock on a Friday night when I got the call. Seems like it's always nights and weekends that things come to a head and happen like that. My cell phone rang, and I'm sure I jumped. I don't usually get calls, people wanting to chat at 10 o'clock at night, so I automatically assumed something must be wrong. Did a quick mental survey of my family, knew where all my kids were, so I was okay. Looked down at my phone and saw on the screen that it was Debbie Bradle, the APR hotline nurse. Suddenly, my heart was pounding for a different reason. It was like I was an excited schoolgirl getting the call from that boy she'd been praying that she would hear from, but she was really a little bit afraid to talk to. I'm sure I looked a little bit foolish there for a minute before I regained my composure and recovered what my family calls nurse face, which is just professional composure. Debbie gave me the information on the patient that I'm going to call Lisa. She had been to an abortion clinic north of Atlanta that same afternoon and had taken the first of the set of pills that we generally, and the general population, refers to as the abortion pill. Then she had changed her mind. Of course, Google came to the rescue. She entered those magic words: abortion pill, regret, reversal. And up popped the number for APR. She dialed the number and was able to talk to sweet Debbie, who really is as sweet as that young girl mentioned on the video. And Debbie was able to give her some hope. We arranged to have Lisa meet me at the center on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And at the end of the conversation, Debbie threw in, and oh, by the way, there might be another patient coming to see us as well, somebody that she had been talking with since Thursday afternoon. The next day, that particular Saturday, was one of the first ones that we were open, so I wasn't there by myself. We always start the day with prayer, so we started out that way, praying as a group for the day, all the patients that were going to be there, and especially for this APR patient that we knew was coming. We've learned there not to really count on our patients always showing up. That's just sort of the nature of those kind of patients. They sometimes just don't show. So I was sitting at the reception area watching the monitors, waiting for her to get here. So I saw when Lisa walked up, she was blonde and fair, and she had flushed cheeks like she'd been rushing. After the usual check-in process, we headed back to the ultrasound room to begin things. I explained what was going to happen, talked to her about the APR process, had her sign all the consent forms and everything, and then what came next was the ultrasound. Now, Jamie, our fabulous staff sonographer, was there that day, so she was the one actually doing the scan. Right away, the image of that baby popped up on the screen. It was clear as a bell. The baby was about 8.5 weeks, which was what we were expecting to see. It really only took a second, though, for me to realize that things weren't right. And in that second, I saw that Jamie recognized the same thing as well. My heart sank, my mind started racing, and I think I started sweating as well. All of the work and planning that had gone into starting APR reversal at our center, I hadn't really considered this as a possibility. I wasn't prepared. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. On this table was this sweet, scared young woman who had made a decision out of fear. And then she had made a courageous phone call, and she had made a very long drive to come to us to try to set things right. I'm sure that she could tell that something was wrong when Jamie handed the probe over to me so that I could have a look. I spent a long couple of moments holding that probe and looking for a heartbeat, praying that God would just let it start. After a minute or so, I knew that wasn't going to happen, so I turned the screen and showed Lisa the image of her baby. It was so clear. I explained what we were not seeing was a heartbeat. I said to her, "This is not what I expected. I am so sorry." Jamie moved Lisa to another room and brought her boyfriend in to join her while I attempted to compose myself and figure out what the next thing to do was. My heart was still racing, and I called Dr. Walker. We are so grateful to Dr. Walker for his heart for this ministry, for his vision, for his wealth of knowledge, and his leadership for us. So I called him right away. He confirmed what I thought would be the next steps were correct, and he gave me the encouragement that I needed to move on from that point. It was quiet, except for the sound of sniffles, when I entered the room where Lisa and her boyfriend were waiting. She was crying quietly, and he was sitting there holding her hand. He was kind of staring off into space a little bit. He was pale underneath all the colorful tattoos that he had all over. He really wasn't a big guy, but the sadness that was in that room just made him seem so much smaller. I explained what the situation was, what her options were. She could either go ahead and take that second pill that's part of the abortion pill and complete the process that way, or she could wait and let her body naturally finish the process. These two were heartbroken. They had only been together a really short time, and they weren't ready to have a baby. So when they found out about the pregnancy, they decided the best thing to do is to terminate. So they went to the abortion clinic, and Lisa took the pill at 3:01 p.m., and that's how she said it. She didn't say about 3 or I took it at 3 o'clock. She said, I swallowed that pill at 3:01. As soon as they got home from that appointment, they looked at each other and decided this was a mistake. By the time she got to us, with hopes of changing the course of their decision, it had been only about 18 hours. Chances of her still having a viable pregnancy were good. She shared with me that she had never seen the image of her baby with a heartbeat at the abortion clinic. She was shown a still picture, exactly like the still picture that we showed her on the ultrasound screen a few minutes before. When she was there at that abortion clinic, she had not known what she was supposed to be seeing. Georgia law does not require that an ultrasound be done in the process of a first trimester abortion. The law does require, however, that if one is done, the patient must be offered an opportunity to view the fetal image and hear the fetal heartbeat. Lisa was shown a still image. She never saw or heard a heartbeat. She was given a pill then to end the life of a child that may have already passed away. She might have been one of the 20 to 25% of women who have a naturally occurring miscarriage. How many times does that happen? How many other women are deceived and victimized that way? Maybe it was a little solace for them. I don't know. Maybe it was actually not something that Lisa had done that took the life of her baby. That's one of the heartbreaks of the abortion pill. When it comes right down to it, it is the direct result of an action taken by the woman that ends the life of her child. Swallowing those pills. In a surgical abortion, there is some distance, a little bit of removal. It is even possible for an additional fee to be asleep during the procedure. There is no sleeping through a medical abortion. So after lots of tears and prayer, this couple left. I was getting ready to leave, try to resume a normal Saturday, when Debbie called and said the other girl was on her way. They had been talking over the course of about 2 days, and Amy had finally decided to attempt reversal. I was glad for a little break there between those two, and I was praying that God would allow this next story to end differently. It was selfish, I know, but I didn't think that I could handle a repeat of that. In walks this tall, willowy girl with beautiful, luminous brown skin, a head full of braids covered with this colorful scarf. She had a nervous smile when she hesitantly explained who she was and why she was there, and she asked if we were expecting her. Of course we are, we said, and we welcomed her. I escorted her back to the ultrasound room, and this time we did things differently. I had already learned the hard way. Did not go over the APR consents, didn't go through that process. I explained that the first thing was we were going to do an ultrasound, and there were no guarantees of what we would find. But if we found a viable pregnancy, we would continue. If not, we wouldn't need to do anything further. Amy's pre-abortion ultrasound had demonstrated a heartbeat. That was a little bit of a relief to know that, but I wasn't about to relax. She had been to the very same abortion clinic as Lisa, just 24 hours earlier than Lisa was. That was a little bit unnerving. If Lisa's baby wasn't alive after only 18 hours, what were the chances for this one when it had been almost 48? Jamie started the scan, and right away, it was easy to see the difference like night and day. Same gestational age as that first little baby that was so still on that screen. But this one was squirmy, and that little heartbeat just lit up the screen. This time, Amy's smile wasn't small and hesitant. It was big and wide, and she let out a sigh of relief. She said she was so glad, and at the same time, she was so angry with herself. She had let her boyfriend talk her into taking the abortion pill. Never again, she said, would she let somebody influence her that way. We finished the paperwork and called in her prescription. I got her out quickly so that she could get to the pharmacy and take that first dose of progesterone. She and I stayed in touch over the next few days by text, and she returned for her follow-up ultrasounds. She came once a week for several more weeks, and we got the joy of seeing that baby as it grew right on schedule. She usually came on Friday nights after work, and I was always looking forward to her kind of bouncing through the door with her big bubbly personality and her big smile. She always seemed so grateful. She was amazed, she said, and she said it several times, that anybody would come after hours and meet her on her schedule to get this done. Amy graduated from APR on July 28th, and we referred her on to an OB that was closer to her that would be supportive of her APR reversal decision. She said she wants to start the Thrive program with us this fall, and we're hoping that she will get on track with that. And maybe at next year's banquet, we'll be able to introduce you to her and her miracle baby. So we at PRC of Gwinnett, we thank God for the pioneers that started this and for the chance for us to be a part of it. Thank you to all of y'all for your prayers and for your financial support with this as well. Please continue those prayers, and please be praying for these two women that are walking very different paths.
So now it's 2017. Approximately a little over 300 babies have been saved through APR. We are so excited to be a part of this. We are only one of 5 clinics in Metro Atlanta that provides this service. What an exciting way to see one life remarkably saved and another life redeemed. Lastly, I want to share with you our vision. Our vision is to provide well woman care when we move into our new facility. Our new facility we will be renting at 565 Old Norcross. I know a lot of you have been praying for us through this transition, and we're happy to tell you we do have a place. We're waiting on the plans to be approved, the renovation's done, and hopefully we'll be in by the end of October. This new location will provide us with more exam rooms than we have now, and it's just going to really fit us well. 70% of the women who go to Planned Parenthood for an abortion were already an established patient prior to that. That is why we want to provide well woman care. We want to get that girl in our door before she's in crisis, get a relationship with her so that we're the one she comes to when she needs us. We already have a nurse practitioner volunteering for us who plans to come on staff once we move and get the well woman care going. So we're excited about that. God is paving the way for us to meet the needs of more women in Gwinnett County. We just need your help. If you'll please download our app, there's instructions on your table. Go to our website and you'll see the many opportunities that we have. I wish I could share them all with you tonight. There's so many ways you can get involved and help with our ministry and volunteer with us. We challenge you to be a part of something that is truly going to make a difference in the lives of individuals, families, and your community. And I promise you, it'll make a difference in your life as well. At this time, I want to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Abby Johnson. As you've already heard, she's fabulous. So we're excited to have her tonight. I'm glad I come before her and not after her, because she would be way too hard an act to follow. Abby Johnson's life changed on October 6, 2009, the day that she resigned from the largest abortion corporation in the nation, Planned Parenthood. That simple act has become a national news story since she experienced a change of heart while participating in an ultrasound-guided abortion procedure. Today, she travels the country sharing her story and motivating others to continue the pro-life fight. Her story has been featured on Fox News, The Mike Huckabee Show, The O'Reilly Factor, Focus on the Family, and numerous other print and media programs. Please welcome Abby Johnson. I consider her one of my friends.
Well, I'm back. Round two with Abby Johnson. All right, let's see. Last time I was here, I was pregnant with twins, and I had them, obviously. They will be 4 months on the 15th, and they are like the cutest babies ever, and super sweet. So that made 7 children for our family. Yeah. I remember when I had 3 kids, and people would say, "Oh, how many kids do you have?" And I'd say 3, and people would go, "Whoa!" And I was like, I don't think 3 is deserving of a whoa. But now, like 7, it's all right to be like, whoa, because that is a lot of kids. You can't even fit that many kids like in a minivan. We had to get a big 12-passenger bus, basically. So we look like we drive a toaster on wheels. It's huge. It's this huge van. So anyway, it is so good to be back here with you all. And for those of you who was not here last year. Oh, really? I could just do a repeat of last year because okay, all right, that's good news, right? Welcome to all the new people that are coming here. So just a little bit about me. I worked at Planned Parenthood for 8 years. I was a director of a Planned Parenthood abortion facility. I left in 2009, coming up actually on 8 years being gone from Planned Parenthood. I left on October 6, 2009, after a few things had taken place. One, I had been told not only that we were going to have an abortion quota, a certain number of abortions that we had to provide every month to women, but I was told that we were going to be doubling this abortion quota. And for me, that was troublesome because I got involved with Planned Parenthood as a college kid. I didn't really know anything about the organization, didn't know anything about what they did or who they were. But I did believe when they told me that their goal was to reduce the number of abortions. I mean, I believed that because why wouldn't you? Certainly you wouldn't believe that an organization is trying to increase abortions, right? That would be terrible. But then when they told me they were going to be doubling this abortion quota, and I said something to my supervisor about it and said, what do you mean? Aren't we trying to reduce abortions? And she began to laugh at me and said, Abby, why would we want to reduce the abortion number? That's how we make our money. And I ended up about a month later participating in an ultrasound-guided abortion procedure. And I watched in horror as a 13-week-old baby in the womb, a fully formed child, fought and struggled for his life against the abortion instruments. And I knew then that there was humanity in the womb, that there was life in the womb. And if those two things were true, then I also knew that I was on the wrong side of this debate. And so I ended up leaving and actually went to a pro-life group in my community, the same group who had stood outside of my facility for 8 years and had prayed for the women going in and had prayed for the workers. I went to them and said, I need a job, really is what I said, because I was pretty well known in this conservative community as the Planned Parenthood director, the abortion director, and I thought in this community it's going to be difficult for me to try to get another job. And so I went to them hoping that maybe they would be able to help. And I'll never forget, they started calling around. They were trying to keep it quiet because we didn't want Planned Parenthood to find out that I was working with this pro-life group. Not yet. And they called a physician in town who was on their board. And they called him and they said, hey, you know Abby Johnson? And he said, yeah, the director of the clinic. And he said, yeah. And he said, well, she left. And he said, okay. And the guy said, no, like she's not. She's pro-life now. And he said, oh, wow, okay, that's exciting. And he said, she's looking for a job. Can you help? He was an OB-GYN, he had his own practice. And he said, are you hiring or do you know someone who is? And he said that he did not know me. He only knew me as the abortion clinic director. We had never had a face-to-face conversation, never had a conversation at all. But he said on that phone call, he said, I will make a job for her. He said, I will hire her. I will make a job. And so that was my plan, to go and work for his office. My plan was to never do this, to speak to groups around the country. But then God, right? He steps in and sometimes has different plans for us. So that's sort of my story in an elevator speech. And so because a lot of you had been here last year, I went around to some of your tables and I asked you, if there is a question that you could ask me, you could ask someone who had worked in the abortion industry, what would it be? What question would you like to have answered? And so many of you gave me questions, and so I'm going to answer some of those and hopefully expand on some of that. I want you to walk away tonight feeling like you knew more leaving than you did coming in, and that you have a better understanding of what's taking place in the abortion industry, what's taking place in the pro-life movement, and how we can all get involved. So one of the questions that I got was about the actual abortion providers themselves. So they asked me, are there independent abortion providers? We hear all the time that Planned Parenthood performs about 330,000 abortions a year at their facilities. Yet the abortion rate in the United States is a little over 1 million a year. So who's doing all of these other abortions? Well, there are individual abortion providers, and Planned Parenthood is simply the largest chain of abortion providers. But there are many independent abortion providers. And these independent clinics often look to Planned Parenthood as sort of the gold standard in abortion care. So many times the care that's provided by Planned Parenthood, the protocols, the standard of care, that's what these independent providers are also trying to emulate. So they want to essentially provide the same care as Planned Parenthood, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So Planned Parenthood, about 330,000 abortions a year, about 1 million abortions in the United States a year. That is down a little bit. We were at about 1.2 million abortions a year. The national numbers are down to about 1 million. Still way too many. Still way too many for a country that says that 51% of the population is pro-life. If 51% of the population is truly pro-life, we would not be having 1 million abortions a year. We have 4 times the amount of pregnancy resource centers as abortion clinics in this country. 4 times. Yet, they're still providing 1 million abortions a year. That doesn't even make sense. If you had 4 times the amount of anything, if you had 2 pharmacies and you had 4 times the amount of CVS pharmacies as you did Walgreens in one community, 4 to 1. I mean, what would happen to the Walgreens? It would probably close. But yet we're not seeing that happen overall. And I think one of the reasons is because a lot of the pregnancy centers across the country are not, I don't want to say aggressive, but as innovative as the one that you have here. Truly, you are supporting a center of excellence in this country, one that many other pregnancy centers should look to find out how to do this correctly, because they are truly trying to do everything they can to prevent a crisis pregnancy. People say, Abby, what's the best way to prevent a crisis pregnancy? The best way to prevent a crisis pregnancy or to prevent an abortion is to prevent the crisis pregnancy, right? If we can work to get these women into our centers to provide well women care, to provide STD testing, to see them, just like Robin said, 70% of women who came to us at Planned Parenthood for an abortion were already patients of ours. They didn't just come to us for an abortion. The majority of them had come to us for other other types of services for well women care, for STD testing, for birth control. So if we could get them in the doors of our pregnancy centers and we could help them understand that there is a better way, that we could help them make a lifestyle change, then the crisis pregnancy never exists in the first place. That should be our goal. And that is the goal of this center. So the pro-life movement has been very reactive. We've come about this from a very reactive standpoint. You know, we wait until the girl is in a crisis pregnancy before we intervene. Well, we want to be less reactive. We want to be more proactive. We want to be in their lives. We want to be helping them make better choices so that the crisis pregnancy never exists. The other question regarding that was, do these providers, do these abortion doctors, they have other jobs? By and large, yes. Most of the time, these abortion providers, these abortion doctors, work full-time somewhere else. And once a week, they come into an abortion clinic and they perform abortions. This is why it's important, particularly for women that are in the audience, for you to ask questions of the doctors that you see, particularly your OB-GYNs. It's important that we see life-affirming doctors, that we support these doctors in their practices. You know, I was standing and praying one time outside of a facility in South Carolina, and it was a doctor's office, but this doctor performed abortions. And I was standing out there praying, and this woman walked up to me, and she said, "What are you doing? Why are you out here?" And I said, "Oh, well, this is an abortion facility." And she said, "No, it's not. I've been coming here for 10 years to this doctor. It is not an abortion facility. I just come here for my annual exam." And I said, "Ma'am, I am sorry to tell you, but this is an abortion facility. They are performing abortions." And she said, "Well, I don't believe you. I'm going to go in and ask." And I said, "Great, because I want to verify my information. So go ahead and do that." So she walked in and she came back out and she was mad. I mean, she was like stomping on her way back to me. And I thought, maybe it's not an abortion facility. Just for a second, I thought, maybe I am wrong. I don't know. Maybe I am the fool standing outside of an OB-GYN office. So anyway, she came up to me and she said, "I want you to know this is an abortion facility." And I said, I know. I think I told you." And she said, "I can't believe it." She said, "I had no idea. They do fertility treatments here. They're trying to help women get pregnant, but then they're aborting babies as well." And she said, "I will never come here again. Thank you so much for being out here and letting me know." So we need to be aware as well. As patients, when we go to these providers, we just need to ask questions. Do you refer for abortion? Do you perform abortions? Because it's also an educational opportunity for a lot of these physicians. A lot of times they think that by referring for abortion, they're helping. And so if we let them know that there is a better way, sometimes they're more likely to listen to their patients. So that's an important thing that we can do. Somebody had asked me to reshare some of the stats and the facts that I shared about Planned Parenthood last year. So one of the things that we hear over and over again is that Planned Parenthood only, what's the percentage they say of abortion services they provide? Oh, come on. 3%. It's only 3%. It's only 3%. Well, the reality is, even if it was 1%, that would be too many, right? But they say it's only 3%. And so people want to know, how do they get to that number, and is that a real number? So that's not a real number. And so I want to explain to you how they come up with these numbers. So if you walked into a physician's office and you were there to get a well woman exam, and you were there to get 3 different STD tests, gonorrhea, chlamydia, HIV, and let's say the physician gives you, 10 packs of birth control pills, okay? This is something common we would give at Planned Parenthood. Okay, so what that would be is, it should be, when you bill that, it should be 1 patient visit with 13 procedure codes. Yes? We all agree? That's how billing works, right? At Planned Parenthood, what they do is they unbundle those services so that when they bill them out, it looks like 13 separate visits for patients. So it looks like 13, that patient came in 13 separate times. And then they do the opposite for abortion services. So they bundle those together, 1 visit, multiple procedure codes, unbundle the family planning visits. So each procedure code becomes a visit. So that's how they come up with this 3% number. Also, one of the things that they do, if a woman comes in and she's had an abortion procedure and she comes back for a follow-up, they actually consider that follow-up a family planning visit, even though she's coming back for an abortion follow-up. And if she has to come back again and again and again for that abortion follow-up, every single visit is considered a family planning because they're not actually performing an abortion at that visit. So they have this creative way of bundling and unbundling to get to that 3%. Somebody asked about federally qualified health centers. So last year I told you that, one of the reasons I got involved with Planned Parenthood, I was in college and this woman came up to me and she asked me what I knew about Planned Parenthood. And, I didn't know anything. I was raised in a pro-life home, but we were not a family that sat around the dinner table and talked about abortion or what it was to be pro-life. I think my parents just believed that abortion would never be something that really was ever on the table for us. My parents always taught abstinence, and they always thought that I would do what they told me to do. And so I just think they never thought it was going to be an issue in our family. And when I went to college and I learned about Planned Parenthood, and this woman began telling me all of these things, all of these talking points, the things that you see on social media, what you hear in the media, and things that Planned Parenthood, all these talking points, and she began to tell me that without Planned Parenthood, women would have nowhere else to go for health care. Right? We've heard that, right? Where are poor women going to go for health care without Planned Parenthood? Well, the reality is that there are fewer than 700 Planned Parenthood clinics across the country. There are over 10,000 federally qualified health centers that provide comprehensive care for women in this country. That 10,000 does not include rural public health centers. It doesn't include community health centers. It doesn't include the tens of thousands of private practice physicians who accept Medicaid in their practices for those women who are low income, or providers who have title cash grant money. So we're talking about tens of thousands of providers compared to fewer than 700 Planned Parenthood facilities, but yet there's nowhere else for women to go. See, it's a lie, but it's just like Robin said, when people begin repeating a lie enough times, that then becomes their truth. They believe that it's true. Planned Parenthood was founded in 1916 by a woman named Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger was a eugenist. She was really looked up to by people like Adolf Hitler. They were sort of cut from the same cloth. She founded Planned Parenthood for really one reason, and that was to eradicate the minority population from the United States. And today, we see her dreams coming to fruition right in front of us, as currently there are more African American babies aborted than born in our country. There are some places in the United States, New York City is one of them, where the abortion rate in the African American community is as high as 70%. It's why we see 79% of Planned Parenthood abortion facilities in what they consider minority neighborhoods. It's a business plan for them, and is working. It's working well. And every year, Planned Parenthood gives out this award called the Margaret Sanger Circle Award. It's their most distinguished award they give out every year. I think this past year they gave it out to Nancy Pelosi. They've given it out to Bill and Melinda Gates. They've given it out to Hillary Clinton. They've given it out to people that you would recognize. And every year, Planned Parenthood continues to celebrate their racist roots by giving out this award in her name. Can you imagine if somebody gave out an award and called it the Adolf Hitler Award? I mean, that would be totally unacceptable, right? But year after year, not only does Planned Parenthood give it out, but these people, these prominent people in our country, stand up on a stage like this one in front of thousands of Planned Parenthood supporters and proudly accept it. And no one bats an eye. You know, I've talked about the abortion rate. I've talked about the numbers now. And I think now is the time that we talk about what to do. Where do we go from here? People ask me all the time, Abby, how do you live with what you've seen? You know, you saw a baby fight for its life. You saw that baby pull away from that machine. How do you live with that? How do you live with that image? I don't know that I have the best answer for that. But I can tell you that if you had seen it, if you could just see, just for a few seconds, what I saw, there would be an urgency that filled your soul that was so great abortion would be a thing of the past. See, abortion continues to exist because it's done in secret. Nobody sees the baby. That baby is a silent victim. But if you could see the terror, it would activate you in a way that you've probably never been active before. Guys, now is the time. I mean, I was here last year and And I said the same thing. I wanted you to become committed to giving of your time, giving of your treasure to this cause. And I hope you did. But if you're sitting here today and you're hearing the same thing and you're going, oh, I didn't really do anything, I hope this is a wake-up call for you. Babies are dying. And they're not just dying. They are being violently ripped apart in their mother's wombs. The place that should be the safest for an unborn baby is now one of the most dangerous. What are you doing about it? What are you committed to doing? It's not always the popular opinion to be pro-life. That's okay. God did not create you for the purpose of being popular. God created you to spread His truth. Period. That's it. We're not here to make friends. We're not here to be voted the most popular in our social group. We are here to spread the gospel of Christ. And part of the gospel of Christ, one of the most important parts of the gospel of Christ, is the gospel of life. So we have to be bold wherever we go, everywhere we go. We have to be unashamed to be pro-life. Somebody had asked, what am I doing now? Besides going around and speaking to groups like this. About 5 years ago, I saw a need. I started having people that worked in the abortion industry contact me. They would read my book, or they would see something on TV or hear me on the radio or something. And so I started getting emails from people who worked in the clinics, and they were telling me that they wanted to leave, but they wanted help. They needed help. They didn't know where to go. And I thought, for sure, I mean, we'd been fighting this thing for 40 years. Surely somebody had started an organization that was there to help out those who wanted to leave the abortion industry. But there wasn't. And so I started praying about it, and really I was praying, asking God to, have somebody do that. It stinks when God's like, you are doing it. You are the answer to your own prayer. Dang it. So I didn't know how to start a nonprofit. So when we did it, and we got it going and everything, and we really didn't think it would be that successful. Honestly, I mean, I guess I'm like ye of little faith. I am that person, and so I didn't really know how successful it was going to be. But I thought, we'll make a budget. It's hard to budget when you don't have any money. We didn't have any money, but sort of a wish, more of a wish list, if you will. And we thought that if we had 10 to 12 abortion workers leave a year, that would be just grandiose success. I mean, it's sort of a hard sell, right? I mean, telling someone who works in the abortion industry, you don't really want to work here, right? You want to come and join the pro-life movement? Because they've been taught that we are the enemy. So it's a hard sell. So we thought 10 to 12 a year, that would be overwhelming, phenomenal. Well, We just passed that 5-year mark. We're starting our 5th year, and we have helped 380 abortion clinic workers leave the industry. And in addition to the 380, we've also helped 7 full-time abortion doctors leave the abortion industry, and they now work to defend life. And guys, that's how we're going to do it. It's going to be through conversion. It's going to be one heart, one mind at a time. And that really should be our goal in the pro-life movement. Conversion. We can talk about defunding Planned Parenthood, and that's great. If we defund Planned Parenthood along the way, fantastic. But that's not my end goal. My end goal is always the conversion of heart. And that's exactly what this center is trying to do. It's about converting the hearts of the women who walk through their doors so that they will choose life for their child, so that they will make better, healthy life decisions, so that they won't end up in a crisis pregnancy facing abortion. It's about converting the hearts of the fathers who walk in. That's why they have this Get In program now. Conversion, it's why they have this one-on-one mentoring. That one life, that one conversion can change thousands. That one conversion will impact generations and generations for this cause. I mean, think about what we've lost. I've had 2 abortions in my life. And I think about how my family now will forever be missing that generational line of people. I think about my family, and sometimes I don't know if I'm ever going to feel like my family is complete. And I wonder if it's because 2 of my children aren't with me at that table every night at dinner. Sometimes we don't realize the effects that abortion has on individuals and the effects that it has on our families and the effects that it has on generations. People are missing. And they're not missing because of an accident or by chance. They're missing because of a choice. And we know that women deserve to make better choices than the ones that they're being offered today. And so it really is about converting that heart, converting that one person, that one life. And that's what this center does so incredibly well. They are finding these women who feel like they have no hope. And the thing that I love about it is that they're not just reaching into the neighborhoods and communities. They're not just doing that, but guys, they're reaching into our churches as well. We would be foolish to think that there are not women in crisis sitting in churches with us every single Sunday. I think the latest number that came out from Guttmacher was that 64% of women who have abortions claim to be church-going Christians. 64%. That cannot make you that surprised, though. Because we haven't done our job in the church. Not when it comes to abortion. We've talked about so many other issues. We've talked about social justice in the church. We've become social justice warriors in some way. We want to feed those who are hungry. We want to clothe the naked. But let's not talk about the vulnerable who are dying from legalized abortion, because that's too controversial. Shame on us. This is not an issue of out there. This is an issue of in here. And we have got to do something. We have got to be involved in our church communities. We've got to start bringing awareness about abortion and its effects into the church. We have to be putting out a call for healing in our churches. 1 in 3 women are having abortions in this country. There are women sitting in your congregations everywhere. I guarantee in every single church there is a woman sitting there or a man sitting there who's been affected by abortion, who is sitting there in silence. And one of the reasons they're silent is because we have not given them an opportunity for healing. We're not speaking about abortion from the pulpit. And so that's telling these people one of two things. It's telling them either, well, abortion, that word's not technically in the Bible, so we don't really know how God feels about it. Or it's telling them that abortion, most likely, it's telling them that abortion is the unforgivable sin. It's telling these people that it is too big for God. So just keep it to yourself. That is a lie. God's desire is to heal those who are brokenhearted. God is in the business of restoration. He's in the business of saving the lost, saving the one. And as believers, we must be about God's business. I think about all the things out there, all the sin, all the things that must break the heart of God. I don't know, but I think about abortion. I think that has to break his heart the most. Because he crafts these babies so perfectly. The Bible says he knows every hair on our head. Nothing about God is random. He's so intentional with his work. And he gives these women a gift. A perfect, beautiful gift. And so many times we take that gift and we throw it out like trash. I can't even imagine how that grieves his heart. But we can be the solution. We are called to be God's hands and feet. So let's do that. I want to tell you about a story about that sort of thing. There's a church in Texas. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. Texas is big, and There's a lot of rural areas, and it's way out in the middle of nowhere. And it's called Possum something, because every podunk town has to have the word possum in it. Anyway, I think it's Possum Creek. I should look this up since I tell the story. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Possum Creek. Okay, so we're going to go with that. We're going to say that as fact. Okay, so it's a predominantly African-American community. There's about 600 people in this community. You have to go down dirt roads to get to it, okay? There's a church in their community. There's a Baptist church that 200 of the 600 residents of Possum Creek attend, okay? And this church, they were a pro-life community, a pro-life church, and they wanted to do something about abortion, about the abortion problem in our country, but they didn't know what to do. Their closest abortion facility was like 4 hours away, and what do they do? So they began to have weekly prayer meetings about how they can affect change in their community concerning abortion. And so they start having these meetings, and they decide as a church that they are going to look into fostering a child. So they're going to find a family in the church, and the church is going to help support them, and they're going to be raising this child together, and it's going to be really beautiful. And so they just have to find that family, right, that's willing to go through this and go through all the paperwork and do the home study. And so the next step was the church wanted the pastor to contact their county CPS department and find out how many children were in foster care. And so the pastor did, and he talked to a woman, and she told him that there were 72 children in foster care in their county. It's a small county, so it was a lot of children. And so he went back feeling a little discouraged and thinking, okay, I don't know, 72, that's a lot. Maybe we can take on 2. Right? Maybe we can find 2 families that would take on 2 kids. So they go to their prayer meeting one night, and he starts telling them what he found out about the foster care system in their county. And he said, I want everybody to bow your heads. I want everybody to close your eyes. And he said, if there is a family, if God is putting this on your heart, that maybe you are a family that would be interested in taking one of these children and fostering one of these children, I want you to raise your hand. And so, the pastor told me I really felt like I was going to be begging people to do this, right? I thought it was going to be really hard to get 2 families to sign up. And he said, but miraculously, he said, everybody put their head down, everybody closed their eyes. And in just a few seconds, people began raising their hands. But they were raising their hands holding up numbers of how many children they were willing to take. And after every hand was raised and they counted the fingers, it was 72 fingers in the air. That county no longer has a foster care problem because this church prayed, they asked for a solution, and they got committed. They became the solution. Now, I'm not asking you to go out and adopt 72 foster kids. I mean, we could do that if you want. I want everybody to close your eyes, and I'm not asking you to do that. But what I am asking you to do is to get uncomfortable. Do something that feels weird for the cause of life. Be sacrificial. Go out of your comfort zone. God likes us there. He likes us out of our comfort zone. I'll tell you another story and then I'll close. A friend of mine is an ultrasonographer in New York, in the Bronx. And she, it's a hard place to have a pregnancy center. She has one there. And they're in this three-story building. The pregnancy center is on the first floor. There's an abortion facility that goes up to 24 weeks on the third floor. And so what's happened is a lot of times this abortion facility, they're charging for ultrasounds. And an ultrasound is required. So what they're doing is many times they will send people down to my friend Linda to get a free ultrasound and tell them, go get your free ultrasound and come back up. I guess they haven't realized that a lot of these women aren't coming back up, right? So, praise God. Okay, so this one day Linda was sitting in her office. This woman walked in. She got right up to Linda's desk. She put her hand in her face. And she said, I don't want to hear anything you have to say. I don't want to hear about this baby. I don't want you to tell me anything about it. I don't want to hear about abortion. I just want you to give me my free ultrasound, give me the pictures so I can go upstairs and have an abortion. And Linda said, okay. So she got up, she took her back to their ultrasound room, got all the paperwork she needed. And Linda always prays over the patients as she's scanning them. She started scanning this woman, and she was really, really praying. And she was looking at the screen. She found the baby was 16 weeks along. And she was really praying, and she was like, God, I need you to tell me what to say here, right? This woman is so closed off. And I want her to hear me. I don't want her to get mad. I don't want her to just stomp off. What can I say so that she will hear me? And she kept feeling like God was telling her to ask the woman if she wanted to hold her baby's hand. And Linda was like, I'm not saying that. That's weird. So she was like, no, something else. But that's what she kept feeling. She kept feeling like God was asking her to ask this woman, do you want to hold your baby's hand? So Linda said, she stood there and she just said, do you want to hold your baby's hand? Hoping that maybe God would give her some more clarity after that, if she just said it. And the girl said, what? What are you talking about? And she said, I don't know. I've just been praying for you, and I just feel like God wanted me to ask you that. And right then, Linda looked at the screen. And she saw this little baby. It was a little girl. She lifted her hand and put it right on her mother's tummy. And Linda said, do you want to hold your baby's hand? And the mother reached down and put her hand where her baby was. And she chose life that day. Sometimes God wants us to get uncomfortable. Sometimes the things that He asks of us, they just don't make any sense. But as believers, we are to do them anyway. Tonight, I'm asking you to do something. I'm asking you to partner with this center, with your time, with your talent, and yes, with your treasure. Lives are being saved by this center. Lives are being changed. God's hand is here. And I'm actually not asking you to be generous tonight with your gifts. I'm asking you to be sacrificial. We're a very blessed nation. Sometimes I don't know that we really know what sacrifice means. Sacrifice means that we go without so that someone else can go with. Tonight, I'm asking that you consider what you can go without so that the families that walk in these doors can go with. I'm going to close with a quote. You may have heard it. It's from Congressman Henry Hyde. He was an amazing pro-life congressman many years ago, and he said this: "When the time comes, as it surely will, when we face that awesome moment, the final judgment, I've often thought that it is a terrible moment of loneliness. You have no advocate. You are there standing before God, and a terror will rip your soul like nothing you can imagine. But I really think that those in the pro-life movement will not be alone. I think there will be a chorus of voices that have never been heard in this world, but are heard beautifully and clearly in the next world. And they will plead for everyone who has been in this movement. They will say to God, 'Spare him, because he loved us.' Now is our time. Now is our time to end this atrocity. And we know that we have the victory." See, I'm not standing here on this stage speaking to you in hopes of victory. I am standing here tonight speaking to you from a place of victory, because we know who wins this battle in the end, and that is Jesus Christ. Thank you all so much, and God bless you.
Abby, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight, doing such a wonderful job. As she mentioned while she was speaking, that tonight you have an opportunity to participate in this fight by way of your giving. On each table there is a cube that has some envelopes in it. There are 3 different ways that you can give tonight. The first is via cash or check, and you can do that by taking one of those envelopes that's seated on your table. Fill out the information on the inside, put a cash or a check on the inside, leave it in the cube. We'll be sure to pick it up. The second way that you can give is right outside in the foyer. We have some credit card kiosk where you can give there with some of our staff members who are outside in the foyer if you would prefer to give by card. And the final way that you can give is, you can always give this way, is through our Friends of PRCG app, the Friends of PRCG app that can be downloaded on your telephone, where you can give directly through the app. We ask that you would give in a sacrificial way, as Abby has already asked us to do. We thank her so much for what she did tonight. Can we just give her another hand and thank her? The stickers that you see that are also on your table that say "Make Abortion Unthinkable," you can take that with you tonight, as well as the centerpiece that's on each table. Someone from your table can take that as well. If you don't mind, would you bow your head with me for a word of prayer? Father in heaven, tonight I personally have been challenged by the words that were spoken by Abby concerning this fight of abortion. Lord, I pray that you would give us all a sense and level of measure of boldness. Lord, help us all to stand and participate, to be the voice for those who can't cry out for themselves. Lord, help us to stand boldly and encourage those who are either contemplating divorce or moving toward it. Lord, whatever the act is that you would have us to do individually in our hearts, to be bold for this cause, to make a sacrifice and to be courageous. Whatever it is that looks like for every individual, including myself, Lord, show that to us tonight. Lord, literally life and death hang in the balance of our decision on whether or not we're going to be bold, whether or not we're going to stand up for what is right, whether or not we're going to stand on truth. God, I thank you so much for the message that Abby is spreading across this country as she's bringing truth to so many myths and lies that even those in this room weren't aware of. Lord, when we think about abortion and how it's been made such a mainstream thing that's normalized, I pray that you would help us to never believe the lies. Lord, not just us who are in this room, but every Christian and every person that claims Christ as Lord and Savior. Lord, we also pray tonight for the young ladies who are on the cusp of making a decision on whether they're going to choose life or choose death. Lord, we pray that tonight you would send them someone to encourage them to take that baby to full term. Lord, just as all of us in this room had an opportunity and chance to be born into this world and live life, I pray that that is afforded to others. Lord, we pray specifically for this place that we're located in, Gwinnett County, that you will allow our county to see the abortion numbers begin to reduce and even go away as we do the hard work every day to fight for life. Lord, I thank you for the reminder that we leave this place not in defeat. We leave this place not feeling depressed or down, but we leave this place in victory because we know that if you raised your son from the dead, that the same power resides in us through your Holy Spirit. We thank you so much for this night. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you all so much for your time tonight.
Heaven thundered and the world was born. Life begins and ends in the dust you form. Faith commanded and the mountains move. Fear is losing ground to our hope in you. An unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. And impossible things in your name, they shall be done. An unstoppable God, let your glory go on and on. And impossible things in your name, they shall be done.
As the band continues to play and sing, you guys are dismissed tonight. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all that you do to help us in this fight for life. Have a great night. Thank you.
Nothing shall be impossible. Your kingdom reigns unstoppable.